Bezrat Hashem Yitbarach, Boker Tov. We are doing Daf Yomi, Avodah Zarah, Daf Mem Hey, Amud Aleph. Mishnah. Hanochrim ha'ovdim et ha'arim ve'et ha'gevaot. The non-Jews that are going to worship mountains and hills. Hen mutarin u'ma sherehen asurim. The mountains themselves are going to be mutar, and whatever's on top of the mountain is going to be asur. Shneimar lo tachmod kesef v'zahav alehem. You shall not covet the silver and gold that is on them, meaning on the mountain itself, but the mountain itself does not become asur. Rabbi Yossi Aglili Omer Elohehem al he'arim v'lo he'arim Elohehem. The mountains that are the gods that are on the mountains, but not the mountains itself are their gods. Elohehem al gevaot. Their gods are on the hills. V'lo he'arim Elohehem, and not the hills. The v'lo ha'gevaot Elohehem, and not the hills themselves can be their gods. Umipnei ma ashera asura. Why is the ashera asur? Mipnei sheyesh bo tefisat yidei adam, because it is something that went through the hands of man. V'chol sheyesh ba tefisat yidei adam, anything that went through the hands of man, asur is going to be asur. Amar Rabbi Akiva, ani ovin ve'adun lefanecha. I will explain before you. Okay? Kol makom she'ata motzeh har gavoa, any place that you find a tall mountain, v'giv'an nisa'a, or a like also a raised hill, okay? V'etz ra'anan, and a green and flowery tree. Da sheyeh sham avodat kochavim. You should know that there is avodah zarah over there. Gemara.
I used to go to my mother-in-law in France from Marseille to Paris on the highway. On the top they made a church.
The Rabbi Yossi Aglili, Hainu Tanakama. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yossi Aglili is the same opinion as the Tanakama. Okay, Amar Rava, why? Because he says the same thing. He basically says the same thing, that the mountain cannot be the Avodah Zarah, but what's on top of the mountain is the Avodah Zarah. Amar Rabbi Bar Chama, Amar Reish Lakish, Tzipui har kehar. The covering of the mountain is like the mountain. Ika benayu. That's going to be the difference between the two. Meaning, if you have something that directly covers the mountain, is this going to be asur or not? This is going to be the machloket between Tanakama and Rabbi Yossi Aglili. Tanakama savar tzipui har eno kahar. The Tanakama holds that the covering of the mountain is not like the mountain itself. Okay, and therefore it's going to be allowed. Eno kahar, it's not like the mountain, and therefore umitzar, and it's going to be asur because it's not because then it's going to be able to be worshipped. Rabbi Yossi Aglili savar, and Rabbi Yossi Aglili holds sipui har harehu kehar. The covering of the mountain is going to be like the mountain, which means the same way that the mountain is not able to become avodah zarah, the covering of the mountain is also not going to be able to become avodah zarah, and it's going to be mutar. Rav Sheshet Amar, Rav Sheshet says, okay, another option of what the machloket between Tanakama and Rabbi Yossi Aglili can be. Amar de kule anma sipui har eno kahar. Everyone agrees that the covering of the mountain is not like the mountain, and therefore it's going to be asur. V'hacha be'ilan shinat o ul besof avdo. What's the machloket going to be in the case of Tanakama and Rabbi Yossi Aglili? It's going to be only concerning the second part of what Rabbi Yossi Aglili said, or the third, which is concerning the tree, okay? Which means that according to, or we're going to see, but we're talking about a tree that was planted for Avodah Zarah. Tree that was planted for Avodah Zarah, that for sure is going to be Avodah Zarah. But the tree that was planted regularly, and then afterwards they turned it into Avodah Zarah, would this tree be asur or not? Tanakama savar, the Tanakama holds, ilan shenat ol basof avdo mutar. He's going to say that a tree that you planted and then you worshipped it is going to be mutar. Rabbi Yossi Aglili savar, Rabbi Yossi Aglili is going to say, no, ilan shenat ol basof avdo, if it was planted and then it was worshipped, asur, it's going to be asur. Mimai, from where do we know? Midikatani seifa, because it says in the seifa, Mipnei ma ashera asura. Why is an Asherah asur? Mipnei sheyesh ba tefisat yedei adam, because it went through the hands of man. V'chol sheyesh ba tefisat yedei adam asur, it can become asur. Whereas a hill or a mountain, it's not something that ever went through a person's hand, therefore it can never become avodah zarah. However, a tree, it can. V'chol sheyesh bo tefisat Adam le'atuyemai. What is it coming to include? The fact that if it goes through a person's hand, lav le'atuye, isn't it coming to include ilan shinata'ol basof avdo, a tree that was planted and then it became worshipped? Okay, so that's why Rabbi Yossi Agdidi says it's going to be asur. Ve'af Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Yehuda savar ilan shinata'ol. Okay, and then Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Yehuda is also going to agree to Rabbi Yossi Agdidi and say Ilan shinat ol basof avdo asur is also going to be asur if it was planted and then worshipped. Detanya Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Yehuda omer mitoch sheneemar Elohehem al ha'arim ve'lo ha'arim Elohehem, from the fact that it said Elohehem al ha'arim, their gods on the mountain, which means that what? The mountains themselves cannot be their god. Elohehem al ha'givaot, their gods on the hills. Ve'lo ha'givaot Elohehem, and not the hills themselves can be their gods. Shomei ani, I can hear, I can understand that what? Tachat kol etz ra'anan, that underneath every green tree, Elohehem, ve'lo ra'anan Elohehem, that maybe, or we can say only the what's underneath is going to be their god, but the etz ra'anan, the green tree itself, cannot be their god. Talmud lomar, therefore the pasuk comes and tells us v'asherehem tisrifun ba'esh, that you have to burn their asherahs in the fire, which means that what? That the tree itself can also be avodah zarah. So he says, Ela tachat kol etz ra'anan lamali. So what does the pasuk have to say underneath the green trees? Hahu licha de Rabbi Akiva hu de'ata. It's coming to teach us like what Rabbi Akiva said. The what? The Amar Rabbi Akiva. The Rabbi Akiva said, Ani ovin ve'adun lefanecha. I will explain to you. כל מקום שאתה מוצא הר גבוה וגבעה נשאה ועץ רענן, anytime you find a high mountain, a high hill, a raised hill, a flowering tree, דע שיש שם עבודת כוכבים, you should know that over there there's עבודת כוכבים. So the reason why the pasuk said it was not to tell me that the tree itself can become avodah zarah. Rather, the reason why the pasuk said it was to teach us that over there you're going to find avodah zarah. Okay? V'Rabanan, hi v'asherem tisrefun va'esh, my avdile. What do Chachamim do with v'asherem tisrefun va'esh? Mibaile le'ilan sheneta'om metichila lekach. They say v'asherem tisrefun va'esh is to teach us what? That if the tree was planted for avodah zarah, that's going to be asur. Okay? V'Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Yehuda nami mibaile. What is Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Yehuda how is he going to teach us this? Lehachi, he also needs to teach us this. So it says the Gemara, Hachanami, yes, you're right. It also includes that if the tree itself was planted for avodah zarah, it's going to be asur. Ela ilan sheneta'ol basof avdo minale. So how does he know that if you planted the tree and then after you worshipped it, it becomes avodah zarah? From where does he know it? Nafkale me'asherem tegadeun. He learns it from the pasuk, or from the fact that the pasuk says you have to cut down their asherahs. Ezehu et shegideu aso v'ikaro mutar. What's the tree that you cut it? You cut down the whole tree. V'ikaro, and the roots are going to be mutar. Have omer, you must say ilan sheneta'o, a tree that you planted it, ulbasof avdo, and then afterwards you worshipped it. This is going to be how you can have a tree that the roots are going to be kosher, but everything else above are going to be asur. Says the Gemara, V'ha asherehem tisrefun va'esh kana sivla talmuda. Okay, but didn't he already use this pasuk to teach us something else? Okay. Now, says the Gemara, ilu lo ne'emar ka'amar. What it's trying to tell us is that it should have said this. It should have said this. That means what? That means that I'll take care of it later. Thank you so much. Kamar. Ilu lo ne'emar, if it wouldn't have said tisrifun ba'esh, if the pasuk would have not said tisrifun ba'esh, haiti omer, I would have said v'asherehem tegadeun. What does asherehem tegadeun mean? Bi'ilan sheneta'o mitechila lekach, that only if the tree was originally planted for the purpose of Avodah Zarah, then the tree is going to be asur, but otherwise it should be mutar. Hashta dichtiv v'asherehem tisrifun ba'esh. Now that it said that the asherehem you have to burn in fire, Aiterla v'asherehem tegadeun. It's the asherehem tegadeun is extra, and what does it teach us? It's coming to teach us that a tree that was planted originally for a regular purpose and then it was used as avodah zarah, that's going to be asur. Okay, v'rabanan v'hay asherehem tegadeun may avdile. What are Chachamim going to do with the pasuk v'asherehem tegadeun? Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. It's going to be used for like Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, like Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi said, Gidu'e avodot kochavim kodmim likibush Eretz Yisrael. When Bnei Israel come into Eretz Yisrael, what do they have to do? They have to start destroying all the avodah zarah. Okay, but to what point are they going to destroy the avodah zarah? They're going to just destroy the surface of the avodah zarah. Okay, so this is before kibush Eretz Yisrael. Kibush Eretz Yisrael kodem lebiur avodat kochavim, and then they're going to destroy the nations, and then after having destroyed the nations, then they're going to go back and completely eradicate, completely destroy the avodah zarah, whatever avodah zarah was left. So, for example, what are they going to do? They're going to come, they're going to see the Asherah tree, they cut down the Asherah tree, they go, they finish conquering the entire Eretz Yisrael. They remove all the going from Eretz Yisrael. Then what are they going to do? They're going to burn the how do you call it? The whatever's remaining. Okay, so first you cut down v'asherem tegadeun, and then v'asherem tisrefun ba'esh, and then you have to burn whatever was left from when they started.
The roots?
Kanile, yeah, or whatever you take it out completely. No. That's not avodah zarah.
When I did the Mishnah, we went with my wife in South Miami to see brocante, a market, something like that. And there was a tree, huge tree in the middle, with things attached, with people write things and so on. It was full of tissue and papers with. I don't know.
Avodah zarah.
No, Avodah zarah. The wishes, things.
No.
The whole tree, big.
Wishing tree.
I was doing the Mishnah that's not like this.
Yeah, but then back then they used to really worship the tree. Okay. Detani Rav Yosef v'nitatztem et mizbechotam hanach v'shivartem et mitzvotam v'hanach v'hanach. Okay, so he says, first, what are you going to do? You're going to destroy you're going to break it apart. Okay, and then what? And then you leave it, and then you're going to break their matzevotam and you leave it. Says the Gemara, you leave it. You leave it alone. It says that you have to burn them. So he explains, Amar Rav Huna, Redof ve'achar kach serof. What do you have to do? You have to break it. You have to break the avodah. You have to break the mizbeach. You go chase the goyim. You chase them out of Eretz Yisrael, and then what? Ve'achar kach serof. And then afterwards, you're going to burn them. Says the Gemara. Ve'Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Yehuda haisvara minale. How does Rabbi Yossi bar Yehuda know that you have to do it like this? If he uses the pasuk to teach us that the roots of the Asherah that was planted originally regularly and then was used as Asherah, he says it's mutar from that pasuk. So how is he going to learn this concept that we just said? Minane nafkale me'abed te'abedun. Abed ve'achar kach te'abedun. He says me'abed te'abedun, first destroyed and then completely eradicated. ורבנן, היי מבעילה, לעקור עבודת כוכבים שצריך לשרש אחריה. And Chachamim teach us from this pasuk, what do they teach us? That you have to completely uproot avodah zarah. ורבי יוסי ברבי יהודה לשרש אחריה מנעלי. Where does Rabbi Yossi בר יהודה know that you have to completely uproot עבודה זרה? נפקא ליה, ואיבדתם את שמם מן המקום ההוא. You have to completely remove their name from that place. ורבנן, ההוא לכנות לה שם. The Chachamim use this pasuk to teach us that you have to make a nickname for the Avodah Zarah. Tanya, Rabbi Elazar says, Minayin le'oker avodat kochavim shetzarich l'sharesh achareh. From where do we know about the avodat kochavim that you have to completely uproot it? Talmud lomar v'ibadtem et shemam. You have to destroy the name. Okay? Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.